All right, so I'm going to show you what a bad example of a poster looks like. So if you're choosing to do the art version of showing me you learned, this is a bad example. I'm really excited about this. All right, even if you're doing the poster, you should still look at the inquiry journal because this is the information that should be on there, right? You can add other stuff, but this is like the minimum. Okay, so Ms. Kirby wants a poster. I'm gonna pretend to be you now. Hey guys, please turn your videos off so that I can record this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna get a pencil, which is, pencil's fine. I'm gonna have a problem with the fine. I'm gonna get, Mrs. Kirby said a piece of paper was fine. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do Mauryan Empire. Here's my poster. She said, I got to write about what this thing's about. Okay, so there's a dude named Chandragupta. Cool. And there's another dude named Ashoka. And he was a prince. That's enough information for Mrs. Kirby. Sure, she'd love that. Okay, and that's Daddy. For sure, we're going to go with that. That's Daddy. And this is Prince number 2. Okay, look at me being specific with details. All right, what's another thing? Oh, so we're in India. Mrs. Kirby might not know that. So we're in India in the 3rd century-ish. And what's some other information? So there's Buddhism. That was there. And let's give one other fact. Mrs. Kirby needs to give me full points for this. So let's say there was conquering. Conquering. Okay, I'm done. I'm not done. So you can, this is a bad example of a poster. Yes, these are all things that were in the section. So this is a good start. So maybe this is where we start. But what I would do, and what I'm going to ask you to do is when you're looking at the book, like the Gupta Empire, culture in ancient India. So these blue things, these blue titles, those can be our circles or like our little main things. But then we need to add details. So let's say you make a little flower. So detail 1, 2, and 3 about that. And then I would go all the way around. Can I just make a big poster? Yes. Can I just use a piece of paper with Post-it notes? Yes. Can I just also, can I draw a picture? Yes. A picture, a sketch, or a clever meme that teaches something can be one of your 3 details. All right, Natalie, you have a question.
For the poster, is like, what is the amount that we have to do for the facts?
How many facts do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great question. So because I've given you this, I'm gonna give you a roundabout answer. It's roughly 5, but in your inquiry journal, right? We have like 1, 2, 3, 4 things that they ask about in the inquiry journal. 4 would be fine for this lesson because it's also a shorter lesson.
Okay.
So your learning on your poster needs to also look like this a little bit. So if you don't want to fill all this box out about Chandragupta, that's fine. But Chandragupta should be on your poster, and you should tell me some things about his dynasty, which is exactly what this says here. So his Mauryan dynasty.
All right.
So the first king of the Mauryan dynasty. First king or emperor, they didn't call him a king. Sorry, it is important to get this right. Emperor of Mauryan dynasty. Okay, obviously you'd write better than that. This is also unacceptable. Sad, hashtag sad, hashtag unacceptable. right? If you're choosing to do the poster, it needs to show time and care. And if you turn in a couple posters to me and I'm like, girl or dude, I'm gonna say, please do the inquiry journal from now on, because I wanna know you're learning. I want to know you are learning. So if I can't read it, then I can't assess if you've learned or not. All right, next question. Just unmute yourself and ask. Anybody?
Oh wait, I have one more question.
Go.
Are we allowed to color it?
Yes, yes, color, color, yes, lots of color. Colors, colors, yes. And I would argue, like, if you keep saying the word Ashoka, like in a bit, like Ashoka's second son, Ashoka's here, Buddhism, Ashoka became, like, you can make Ashoka's name the same color each time. And that kind of adds like some connection. I do want you to have fun with this. Yes, thank you, Allie. We only have 10 minutes left. And I know that I said I would get through this. So, okay. If you have questions, email me. I'm gonna close my little thing here. So I'm still recording this. Screen sharing is paused. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
You see the paper wiggles?
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. Let's go.
Wait, I can't see this paper. Wait, what did you say?
Can you see? I was wiggling the paper. That's all.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay. Can you see it? Me moving it now?
No.
No.
Okay. Stop sharing. Thanks for telling me. So again, I am doing the best I can. Okay, so let's try it again. So sometimes when I stop sharing and I share it again, you're with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now we can see it.
Uh-huh.
All right. So Chandragupta Maurya in places. Okay, sorry. What events set Chandragupta Maurya in place as the ruler? So Chandragupta was a dude. He became the emperor of India in the 3rd century. So the first thing was there were conflicts that weakened small Indian kingdoms. Conflicts that weakened small Indian kingdoms. I'm going to alternate colors. The second fact is there were small kingdoms that couldn't stand up against those foreign invaders. And those foreign invader was like Alexander the Great, right? He only came up to that Indus River, tried to expand, but then Alexander the Great's people were like, dude, we are done fighting this. And there was a mutiny. So that's why they didn't press farther than that. But those small kingdoms could not stand up to foreign invaders. Okay, and then the last one, the Persian king and the Greek invasions, they left India without strong leadership. No strong leadership. Now, enter in Chandragupta. So he came in, he was able to, with his own family and support, his own wealth, because back then he had to pay his own soldiers. So you have to be a wealthy dude in order to start, you know, your own empire and get people to support you. So he ruled over the indigenous people of India. So he wasn't a foreigner. He was one of them. Now we're analyzing the methods, the Mauryan king Ashoka. So now we're kind of jumping ahead to Chandragupta died, it's been 4 years, Ashoka killed his brother and his friends and took over. So Ashoka used to govern the kingdom and how his ideas affected Indian culture. So his ideas, so religious freedom. And I'm gonna actually say tolerance. He let people have different religions and didn't kill people for it. You gotta say, in England and in Spain and in France, I mean, a lot of Catholic people killed a lot of people because during the Crusades, you know, they did some pretty gruesome stuff because of the religious intolerance. So under the umbrella of religion, a lot of wars were fought. And Ashoka didn't do that. He's like, all right, you be you, but just don't bug anybody else. The other thing he did was he went on these pilgrimages where he traveled around his country, traveled, and he talked to people. He listened to the compliments and complaints of the local leader. Traveled, talked to people about local leaders. Do not get me wrong, this is not a democracy. He's not saying like we should have elections, but he was asking, how are you being treated? Because how you were treated matters. And last one, I should have done this in green. Sorry guys, I meant to alternate colors, but I failed you. And then the last one, he squished rebellion. I guess that's the best way to put it. He responded to rebellion when necessary. So he did not let people get away with his lovey-dovey like idea of nonviolence. Didn't go so far as to letting other people abuse other people. So he responded to rebellion when necessary. But he did not like violence. All right. If you have any questions on this first page, please just unmute yourself and ask.
I can't turn on the video.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about Chandragupta, his second son, Ashoka, who is the son of a princess and this ruler. All right, okay, next page. So yes, go.
I just have like I don't remember what it's called. I just want to like make sure Ashoka's the oldest, right?
He's the second son, but the oldest son, that's okay. The first son, okay, so because the first son's mom was a commoner, some people think that makes him an illegitimate son, like not even remotely qualifying for being on the throne. But I wanted you to know that Ashoka did fight his two other brothers to get the throne. And that was before he became Buddhist. That is not on the test. I just find that extremely interesting. Sorry for confusing you, if that did.
Okay.
Did that help?
It did. Yeah.
So particularly back then, if someone wasn't like the first son, or if someone had a kid with someone else, they said that was an illegitimate child, and like they didn't even count. And that's just how it was. So questions? Okay, cool. Now, so we have, how did the Mauryan rulers who followed Ashoka govern India? Okay, so we say followed, which kind of dings to me like, oh, I'll bet there were rulers that didn't believe in Ashoka's like, hey, let's just be nice to everybody, which is true, because you know what, people are greedy and people want power. So what were the consequences of their rule for the Mauryan Empire? All right, so the new rulers treated people harshly. The people rebelled. The Mauryan Empire split into smaller pieces and continued to fight for hundreds of years. The second Chandragupta came into power and began growing the Gupta Empire. Okay. So the rulers who followed, Ashoka, how did they govern India? I misunderstood the word followed. So these are the word, this is after. So after Ashoka, How did those governors act? Yeah. Grace, awesome sauce. Yeah. So in this context, it means after. You're right. And there's more comments, more chatting. Okay, it's 10:30. If you need to go, you can. I'm going to keep recording because I am going to post this on our Google Classroom. Okay, so if you need to go, see you later. If not, I'm just going to finish this so that you can watch it later.
Miss Kirby, Miss Kirby.
Yeah, go for it.
Are we going to be doing something like we did yesterday because I missed it? Prodigy.
If you guys want to do Prodigy, you can make a chat in our math class Google Classroom to set up a time, and you can just do it on there. Okay.
We can do it like during our.
Hey
We
guys.
can do it.
So I have to finish history, so you can take this Prodigy chat onto the comment section in our math class. All right,
Okay.
I'm going to keep going. So
Let's
after
do it.
Ashoka. Oh, Natalie, was that you?
Wait, do I still have the mic on?
So
Sorry.
if you have to go, you may go, but I'm going to keep doing this video so that I can post it for everyone's benefit. Okay, so
I'm gonna post the time on the Mod 9 test.
okay, Parker, I need to teach history now. So if you need to talk about math, go to math into the comment section.
Okay.
Thank you. Everyone mute. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So these new rulers, they were super harsh. They were very harsh. They were brutal. They treated people harshly, the citizens. And the people rebelled. So the people rebelled. The Mauryan Empire split into smaller pieces. Split into smaller pieces. And they fought for hundreds of years. They fought civil wars for hundreds of years. A civil war is when you're fighting against yourself. You're fighting against your own people. Your enemy isn't somebody that's from a different country or a different planet. They are what you would consider someone as like a part of that country. So the second Chandragupta came to power and began growing the Gupta Empire. So the last one, that's determining central ideas. So the Mauryan and the Gupta empires have that specific Indian culture. And what influences did those two empires, the Mauryan and the Gupta Empire, have on that Indian culture? So as you're reading the textbook, you're going to collect details from your text. Okay, you collect details from the text and use this chart below to organize your information. And then you can write like a little thesis statement here. So let's start there. So Sanskrit language developed, literature created about the culture and the sacred beliefs. There was music and dancing and musical instruments. So let's start making a list. So I'm gonna actually use a pencil if that's okay with you. So Sanskrit language.
Mom,
Yeah, honey.
could you please check to see whether my Wi-Fi is on?
I'm busy right now, honey. So literature created about culture. So literature means there's about writing poetry and plays, literature, stories. There's music, dancing, musical instruments, visual arts advanced. I'm going to do a little line right here, and I'm going to make a second column because I know I'm running out of space. So they built buildings, including palaces and temples and stone pillars for religious messages, everywhere Ashoka went on his Buddhist kind of pilgrimages, he would build statues and even make kind of watering holes for travelers along the way, so that he was helping the people in that community with that as they traveled as well, which is kind of cool. Giving back. Ooh, astronomers, they mapped the planets. Astronomers mapped the planets. He figured out that the Earth was round. They figured that out. Earth is round. What? That's supposed to be an eyeball. And they used herbs to cure disease and advanced the idea of identifying the cause of disease and prevention. So they medicine. Advanced. They also developed geometry and algebra. The Mauryan and the Gupta empires advanced culture in many positive ways during these dynasties. So, and that's actually a really great one. I'm going to write that down. The Mauryan and Gupta empires advanced. I'm going to switch to color. Oh no, you guys can see it. Okay. Advanced culture in many ways during the reign of these dynasties. All right. So these bullets here, these little stars, those can go in my circles. And I'll let you guys figure out which ones, because there's even more from the book. So the number system is another one, the number. So having a uniform developed number system, mathematics and science and architecture. So I think you're brilliant, and I can't wait to see the final product. If you make the poster, you're doing the quiz. If you did the inquiry journal, guess what? You're doing the quiz. So I'm gonna be able to judge and give you points for how well you learn the material by seeing your work and your learning, and by how you performed on the quiz. All right, have a great time. Talk to you later, alligators. Email me if you have questions.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's up, Natalie?
How